Where in the world is...
I totally forgot that Carmen Sandiego was the villain of the show.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. She's not like a good person.
No,
yeah.
Not even in the slightest.
She would steal like whole buildings or like...
Yeah, like monuments. That's terrorism.
She's a terrorist.
That's like Chris Angel. He was a terrorist.
Chris Angel's a terrorist.
He would.
She hadn't killed anyone that we know of. She just wanted to take things.
Yeah, and
then let the gumshoes find out in very educational ways where she went.
How do you?
She never got arrested.
Hey, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you have any comments or suggestions, hit us up at worshipandtributenerd@gmail.com. This week, we nerd out on some TV shows with ex-Vanna member Shawn Marquis, and we talk about his new band, Inspirit.
Worship and Tribute Nerd!
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Michael, aka Rickshaw, and this is Worship and Tribute Nerd, the show where metal dudes nerd out. Today, we have my co-host with me, Fuzz.
Hello.
And also, it's a special episode. We have an interview with my buddy, Shawn Marquis. Am I saying Marquis right?
You are. That's correct.
Nice. Shawn used to play in a band called Vanna, and now has a new band composed of the old members of Vanna called Inspirit.
That is sick.
Yes, very sick.
So sick.
I like what's going on. I like the EP, and I like the art, and I like everything that's going on with it.
It's really true.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was just kind of a thing that came about, and we're doing it all ourselves, so we control all the art. When everything gets released, how and what to record with, and we pay for it all too, so that's the downside.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's been going around a lot. You know, you cook up an idea during quarantine, and then you're like, guess we're gonna have to pay for all this shit to get put out ourselves. You know,
but it's smarter though, because you get like you said, you have full control over everything, so that's pretty sick. That makes things better.
Well, I mean, these days, like, you know, not to put down record labels, because we've had a couple of good ones ourselves during Vanna's career, but like, I can put it online very easily. Like, you can put it on all streaming services, or like, you know, Apple Music and Spotify, and people don't really buy CDs anymore. People do buy vinyl, so we do have a vinyl pre-order up. Again, we had to pay for it ourselves, so we're like using the pre-order to like help fund it, you know.
Right.
But,
Right.
Yeah.
It's coming out soon, so like people will have something to hold in their hands. If this was normal times, non-COVID, we'd probably be out, you know, playing a show or two. Like, the guys, we're all older. 3 of us have kids and, you know, jobs and stuff, and we're around the country. Like, one of our guys is in Texas, and one's in Florida, and the other 3 are in Massachusetts. So like, we would do some shows, but like, that's not a thing. So.
Right. Who's in Texas?
Then we'd use that money to then pay for more stuff. And we're just basically like using, you know, merch sales of stuff we come up with online, our streams, which we actually get all the money for, which is wild, because like we didn't really see that before, because we went through the label and we're like, I don't know how people make money streaming or, you know, record sales, because like you have all the recoupable funds to pay back to the label before you really see any money. And the way things sell, we're never going to see any of that money.
Yeah.
I know how that goes.
Definitely.
We did get I got like a 38-cent royalty check once. That was pretty cool.
Oh, I still get some Iwabo checks, you know, and every 6 months I'm like, damn, $8.59.
Cashing that today.
Yeah. Good thing I needed to pay rent.
Like, oh, that's cute. Like, I'll Venmo everyone $5, or should I just send it in a Starbucks gift card for a free drink?
Yeah, we'll just re-up the Starbucks gift card. The way that works, I think, is such a joke. You work so hard, and then somehow the label still gets to F you in the B.
Right. Well, also kids too.
Like Bitcoin or something.
Do what?
Just get your royalties paid in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Right.
There we go. I'm in on that.
I just and also, you know, like being someone, you know, we know how that works and shit. And we see all the, you know, we see how you make money as a band. And like I see these arguments online all the time of these kids that are just like, why would I ever spend $10 a month on Spotify? I could just go and get it free. Support your favorite band. And it's like in the same sentence, support your favorite band, but don't pay for Spotify. Like what? Like what is going on?
Even like, you know, Spotify and Apple Music, and like they honestly, like they don't give you the greatest rates, but like it's better than nothing. That's like a rebuttal to like, well, why don't I just get it for free? But like, well, why don't you pay like literally the bare minimum? Like, like back in the day, that would be like a cassette.
Right,
you know,
right.
Like, I was gonna go buy, you know, the new Offspring album on cassette. You know, if I had $10, I could get that one thing. Now instead, I could just get all music ever for a month.
I know.
Like,
that's what.
I don't know. Seems like.
Nope, I'm gonna buy the cassette. I'm just gonna buy the cassette. Just that one cassette.
Cassettes are back.
I'm sure this like 16-year-old was like, "Who's this guy coming in super hot, yelling at me that I should pay for Spotify?" Like, because we like went back and forth for a while, and then I'm like, "Oh wait, this is like a teenage like girl." Yeah. So
every episode, I swear to God.
Yeah.
Turns into us just griping about how old we are and how kids have no idea how good they have it.
Right.
It's so bad.
Cassette. What is a cassette? Explain to the crowd what a cassette is.
Well, it's like what you would get on Spotify if you looked up your favorite artist and you saw one of their like short list of songs, except you get that in like a cartridge and you only get that. You listen to it as many times as you want. You don't have to connect to the internet, but that's all you get. You don't get other songs. Other songs don't magically come back into the mix.
Don't forget you have to flip it around to listen to side B, too.
Yeah, that's true, too. But you also said you could listen to it as much as you want. That's not true because it wears out.
True.
So, yeah.
And I definitely wore out some Primus tapes back in the day.
Oh, shit.
This tape sounds like crap. I'm like, oh, I think I've worn it out.
Yeah. And then, like...
I finally upgraded and got, like, all my old cassette albums on CD, and I was like, oh, these sound way better. I should have done this a while ago.
Well, like, can you imagine, like, the equivalent of, like, you know, like, what would happen back in the day whenever your, like, tape started being eaten by the fucking tape player? It's like what?
Rewind it. Hopefully it's not fucked.
Yeah, I mean, like, if that... Nowadays, it's like... You know, back in the day, it's like, what's happening with my tape? And then, like, the tape's, like, starting to shoot out and, like, reel up, and you're like, what's happening? Now, you're, like, clicking a button, and you're like, this isn't loading. I hate it. I hate this thing.
I hate my internet.
Yeah.
I hate my internet. This is dumb.
I have to wait 4 seconds for a movie?
We're that, like, micro-generation between, you know, analog and digital. Like, the Xennials or whatever people want to call it. Like, we remember a time where, like, you had to, like, you know, flip the fucking tape over, and you know you had to like use a typewriter to finish a report for school because you didn't have computers yet.
A remote for the TV. Like there was a time right before our generation where you had to like click. You know, when I was a little kid, they would like send me to the TV to click it to 36.
That was a kid's job.
Or down big ass TV, like not big like screen, just it was large for some reason, and then the screen was. Like, and I had to do that. There was no remote.
Right.
You remember those days?
It's like your one job as a kid. Your dad didn't care about your grades or anything, but he's like, you better be there to turn the TV when I need it, I swear to God.
I remember channel 36 was the last channel, and it was MTV. And, like, after 36, if you went... I think the when I was, like, you know, a small child, it went up... The dial went up to, like, 40, but there was nothing after 36. So it'd be like, and then I remember at one point they added E, the entertainment network, to 37. And I was like, ooh, we got a new channel.
And then when you get a little older, and maybe this is a little past that time, the scrambled porn stations.
Oh, yeah.
I remember those days.
Yeah. But
and every once in a while, like descramble for just a second, you see like a tit, and you're like, yeah, that came.
What is it on American Pie where he goes, oh my God, that's a tit. No, it's not. It's so awesome. The wind was blowing just right on the satellite outside. You'd get Showtime or Cinemax, see some boobs.
Right.
Yeah.
But we might as well be transparent. We've done this interview before, and it went really well, and we talked about a lot of fun stuff. And then because of the update to my computer.
Yeah, the computer's fault.
Well, it was a software update and a hardware update. And so I realized that you were my first interview via online that I had done since I had gotten a new computer with the newest update.
Grow up, dude.
So the thing that happened was on my old computer with the older software, if I was screen recording and I hit close for the whole application, it would say, would you like to save the file? And then I would say yes, and then it would say name the file. And so then I would do that. When I did yours, being the first one I did since the new computer, I closed the app and it was like, it's closed. And I was like, wait, what?
They're like, oh, it's garbage.
Yeah. So I've learned that there's a little button now on the new update that you have to hit stop, and then it'll say, would you like to save it? So that's what happened.
Sorry, Sean.
That it would be like that.
Right.
And not give you a warning.
Exactly. And
it probably did give him a warning. He just wasn't paying attention. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a warning.
Yeah. Hey, you know what would have happened if this were analog? It would have been there.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. If you were recording on a little spool of tape, or a little projector, like 8mm film, you have it.
Like one of those.
Unless it got caught in the machine and got crunched.
One of those shoulder cams with the. Yeah. When you
gotta pop the reel back in.
And then you had to spend the big bucks on the tripod because it was so heavy of a camera.
That's true. It's what we're recording in right now.
But anyways, in our interview that we did that was glorious that we didn't get to keep. You did explain, we went through a little bit of what you did after Vanna ended, leading in to Inspirit. And so explain to the little boys and girls. That's weird to say it like that.
Don't say that. Don't make this weird.
Explain, what kind of inspired y'all to start the new band.
Boys and girls and the non-binary out there.
Right.
After Vanna, we wrapped it up. It was a nice point where we were we all got stuff going on in our lives and can't do this stuff full time anymore. And rather than try to eke it out, let's go out on the top. So it was pretty cool. We got to do a couple farewell shows in different parts of the country. We actually did a couple down in Texas because we were well, we got to go to Texas one more time because that's always been lit for Vanna. Those were some of the first sold out or close to sold out shows we ever played that weren't in New England. So that was pretty cool for us to be able to go back there. Anyway, the final show, we played at Worcester and we decided to have some surprises. We had a bunch of old members come back and sit in for songs or sit in for parts of the set where we played older stuff where those members would be in there. And we did a bunch of throwback to the first EP and the first album that we did when we had the original lineup in there. For some of us, that was the first time we'd seen each other, or some stuff had ended on bad terms with some people, but by then we're all just we're old, who cares, whatever, let's play. And just playing on that stage again, and I don't know, there was something magic about just having those 5 people play, and some of us not having played music together in 10 or more years, and then just sit down and just jam it out it was muscle memory.
Right.
And it was just wow, that I remember looking around at everyone and we're all smiling. This is sick.
Yeah.
That show, you happen to see us on stage, and you could probably sense how filled with joy we were, because this is how these songs are supposed to sound, because these are the people that originally wrote it and played it, and it just it was really cool.
Yeah.
So flash forward, that was awesome, and we were cool, hey, that was fun, we'll see you, have a good life, never talk to you again.
Yeah.
And but that's not true. Yes, so this last year, obviously, unless you've been living under a rock or in a coma the whole time, which I just heard some guy in the UK woke up from a coma that started before the pandemic started.
Oh, wow.
He has no idea about it. So anyway, it's for that guy.
Shout out to this guy.
So yeah, we're all stuck at home. Everyone's bummed out. Brandon, our drummer, he actually, plays guitar and like has like recording set up at his house and stuff. And he's always just like jamming stuff. He also had a band called Lines that he started after he left Vanna, and he's done a bunch of other projects and fun stuff. But he was just taking around, like put up some metalcore riffs on guitar up on his like Instagram or something. And Chris, who's the original screamer of Vanna, he was like, "Oh, that sounds sick." He's like, "Dude, like send me some stuff to like scream over." And he was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, I think I want to do some screaming or whatever." And he's like, "Okay." So like and mind you, Chris, we stayed in touch with him. He's done a whole bunch of stuff. You should interview him. He's got a whole life story that happened post Vanna until now, which is like wild. Like I don't even know all the details, but it's been like literally around the world.
Nice.
But he was like, "Yeah, let me like scream on some stuff." And Brandon was like, "All right, I'll send you some riffs and stuff." He's like, "But I don't write metalcore as much like on guitar as well as like Nick. So like, why don't we get Nick in on this?" And he's like, "Okay, cool." And then Nick was like, "Yeah, sure. I'm not doing anything." He's a tattoo artist now, and he's like, "Tattoos aren't allowed, so I'm literally just at home, can't do anything, can't go anywhere." So he starts riffing, and they're like, sending stuff back and forth, and they were like, "Wait, this is the three of us. Like, why don't we get Evan and Shawn involved?" And they contacted Evan, who I hadn't really talked to like since the farewell show, and told me, and I was like, I was the only one who was like really like on the fence. I was like, cool, yeah, maybe. Like, I don't know, man. Like, stuff's crazy. I'm a dad now. Like, I really don't know if I can do a band. Like, I barely picked up my bass since the farewell show. I just haven't felt inspired, and like I'm just kind of moving out of my life. And then they were like, "Yeah, cool. Well, we'll send you demos and you can hear them. Let me know what you think." And I'm like, "Cool." I heard like a very early demo of one of the songs, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I guess it's metalcore. Like, yeah, I get it. And I like that stuff." But and then Evan one day sent back a track that he had recorded vocals on, and Chris had already recorded some of his vocals too. And Chris, for not screaming for 15 years, just sounded even better than he did like when Vanna ended. And when I heard Evan's vocals, I was like, "Oh shit!" I like had that moment again. Like we were playing on stage in the farewell show. I was like, "All right, I gotta go right now." I was all in. I was like, "All right, we gotta do this. This is fun."
Yeah, hold my baby. Hold my baby. I'm gonna get my bass.
I'm gonna get my other baby.
Actually, I had him hold the bass, and then I played around.
Oh, dude, that's sick. I believe it.
Tight.
True story. I ghost wrote it. He played it.
Right.
So.
I believe that.
No, it was sick.
But yeah, it's sounding dope.
We recorded stuff on our own and like just kind of sent it through email and files and stuff. So I don't know, really came out of boredom, but we liked what we were doing, and we were like, what are we gonna do with this? Like, I don't know, just put it online and let people listen to it. And then we were like, let's like fully release it. Let's like do a thing. Let's come up with a band name, and like did all that stuff. And like, I don't know, part of me is like, I'm so glad to put the band stuff behind me, because it was great while it lasted, but like you guys know, like it sucks your life away. Like,
right.
You put so much into it. You put your heart and soul into it. You drain your whole bank account. You disown or abandon your whole family because you got this dream. And then when you're done, you're like, oh shit, I have no life left in me. And
yeah. And then people are like, I don't want to pay for Spotify just to hear a dumb band. Yeah. So.
But because we're doing it all ourselves, we were like, hey, let's just keep it fun. Like, whatever we want to do, whatever we decide to do with it, let's just do that and do no more,
Yeah.
Like, so we're like, cool. So, like, it's been a really cool vibe. We've been talking. We have, like, a group chat. We talk pretty much every day. And we, like, everyone has their kind of thing that they do well. Like, someone, like, does merch. Someone, deals with, like, the online stuff. Someone, like, is dealing with, like, the vinyl getting made and like all the kind of ins and outs. So I imagine if and when shows are allowed again, we'll start trying to do that
right
whenever we can. But like, it's not gonna be like a full-time touring band, which is like something no one wants. So like, I don't know. It's just really fun. And it's like, something that like I tried to leave behind, and it kind of found me again, and I'm pretty glad that it did, because now I have like a creative outlet, at a really shitty time in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, and especially with like what's going on with, especially like the first part of the pandemic when it was like super serious and everybody was in lockdown, like there's been so many people inspired to do music or writing or Twitch or OnlyFans.
Right. Anything. You gotta do something.
Yeah, and that's the perfect opportunity to get into that, and unfortunately, like, the circumstances suck, but at least lots of people found themselves again, I guess, in a way. I mean, I definitely have a quarantine band project also. So I'm finally getting some vocals going on, even though all my shitty friends from 10 years ago were like, no, Mike, no, you're not doing vocals, man.
I didn't say that.
Or like carry, like high pitch sounding, like what? Give me a taste.
I mean, it's just it's just some screaming. It's some like
Give me a taste,
some
dude.
metalcore beat. Yeah. Yeah, like Half Baked.
But I mean, it feels good though. I mean,
Yeah, it does.
I mean, it's just nice to do something. Like, you've been pent up in your house. I mean, y'all have it way worse up there than we have it down here. So I can only imagine like getting to create new stuff or find a reason to be creative made you feel a little bit better in like this time right now.
Yeah, it's definitely something to look forward to.
And I did a thing with Stevis. Stevis, he used to play in the Chariot. He's in Fever Free 333, and he kind of made me realize too, because he's like, hey, what does a band nowadays look like to you? And I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, it could look like whatever you want it to. That because we live in the future. You could just be an online band. You could, you know what I mean. You could just do songs online and live your life, whatever. So I'm like, that made me realize too that it's like, you really can just do what you need to do and put it out, and then just that's it. You know what I mean? And if it gets rough with politics and band life, it's like, whatever. Don't want to deal with that shit. So
like, because of that, like we grew up in a time, again, showing our age, of analog, versus digital.
8-tracks.
Get together and like rent out a shitty practice space or practice in someone's basement, and it smells like shit, and it's just like an awful place. But it's like where you write all your jams, and you drink a lot, and you gotta get to you got a woodshed, you gotta just write for hours and hours and hours. And these days, kids can just be like, oh, well, I just have my computer. I don't have to pay anyone to like record my demos.
Yeah. And
I could play my own instrument if I want, but there's also lots of cool stuff I can make with my computer, and then vocals or not. And look at like Billie Eilish, like her and her brother like started just recording at home on their own, and that's what they still do. And she's the biggest artist in the world.
Yeah,
like, it's wild. My brother is actually her tour manager, so it's just like wild, and getting updates from him, like what that life is like, and just like just remembering like they started just like on the computers, just recording at home. Like, like they didn't have any touring experience when they went on their first tour, when they were already super popular online. They're just like green, like totally backwards than how, we used to have to do it,
Oh, God.
Yeah. It's almost like sad to me.
but the old guy,
right,
it's sad, but then if you can like adapt and be like, well, actually, I mean, I can just do that too. Like, just because I had to suffer doesn't mean that the next generation has to suffer, or that I even have to keep suffering. I just have to learn new tricks,
I mean, it's tough not to be a jaded old piece of shit. You know what I mean?
It's so hard not to be.
But yeah, let's get into some nerdy stuff. Like, I know that last time when I botched the interview, we got into some Mandalorian. Fuzz is not a fan.
No, hold on. He gets so mad at me.
Can you just leave for this?
Okay, hold on. So I love Star Wars. I do. But the thing is, my attention span is like really short. And the first 4 episodes, the first 3 episodes, I barely got through them. I could not stand to sit there and watch them. And I don't know why. I don't know what the reason is. I just can't get into it. I've tried 3 different times to get into it. The other day, my wife and I was like, all right, let's do this. Turn the first one on. An hour later, I wake up and I was like, "What I missed?" And she goes, "Oh, the first 2 episodes." All right, cool. And it wasn't after work.
Sean looks so sad.
I know, dude. I'm sorry. You know what? I know that look of disappointment.
The first 5 minutes, and I'm not even a big Star Wars fan. I was just like, "This is it."
Well, see, dude, it just, I don't know what it is, because WandaVision was slow going, but I'm balls deep in that. But for some reason, something about Mandalorian.
I was like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. I was
trusting the process, but I'm not entertained right now.
Yeah.
Dude, I was questioning everything after that last episode. But hold on. But seriously though, I've tried to get into it, and I get hated on, especially by Mike. Mike gets so mad at me because I don't like it.
I'm hating on it.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Well, okay, so.
But also hating and judging.
Yeah. No, I was like, after season 2 ended, I was like, did you watch that? And they're like, no, we can't get into it. And I'm like, can I just talk to you about what happened at the end of season 2? And
I told them, go ahead.
And because I was like, I don't want to ruin it if you don't want me to ruin it. But I have to talk about it with somebody. And they were like, just give us a little bit. We'll try and get into it. And I was like, because I would prefer that you tough it out,
dude,
and then make it to the end of season 2, and then play with your nipples and have your mind blown.
Dude, look, I thought Stranger Things sucked too, and I'm not ashamed to say that. I thought that show was horrible. I thought it was horrible.
I could see where.
You just have bad taste. That's what we're
this is what he's been telling me all the time.
Dude, this isn't
cool. No, it's cool. I'll go fuck myself.
Because I understand it, because I used to be like that, but then I was like, hey, wait, I'm being just as shitty as people that like shitty stuff just for not liking things because other like them. Because I've gone back and rediscovered things that I never gave a chance because I was like, oh, these kind of people listen to that? I'm not listening. I was like, oh, this is pretty sick.
Okay, so, but normally, when my friends tell me to listen to a band, it's trash. Always.
Like, no.
9 times out of 10, it's trash. I don't even listen to it. I don't want to hear the name. And I like to troll people. It just is what it is. But this stuff, I used to be that way. But I just don't care for it. And if it's not a quick and funny type thing, dude, I have no part in it. I don't want any part of it anymore. And I don't know what it is because I just can't get into it. I love Star Wars. I absolutely love Star Wars, but I just cannot get into
That's the most
Mandalorian.
fun part. I don't get that. That you love Star Wars and can't get into it because I don't even love Star Wars that much.
Dude, I don't know. There's something wrong with me, obviously. We know this, but it's just one of those things. I have tried, and I'm going to keep trying just to make Mike happy, but I just can't do it. And maybe it's because my attention span is so short that I just don't want to. I don't want to watch a 40-minute episode of a guy in a desert. What do you want? What do you want from me?
A desert? You mean Tatooine?
My bad.
If you're watching it at the end of the day, now I can understand because being a dad too, you're like, I got nothing left. You're like, you're not going to make it through. So maybe you just need to change which part of the day you start watching it. Why don't you watch it in the morning, when you're fresh and you're not bored and you're willing to give something a chance.
Because usually Chelsea's playing on Saturday morning when I should watch it, but I like to watch Premier League instead. No, but I get it. I totally get it, and I should be that way because look, I'm sorry. My life literally revolves around my kid, my wife, and sports. That's what my whole life is based on. And so when I get to watch Chelsea play, I that's got my full attention because my daughter's not up yet, and so I gotta use that time wisely.
How about this? Someday one of these days you're gonna wake up, you're gonna be tied up, and we're gonna Clockwork Orange you to where your eyes are forced to be open, and then we're gonna be watching all of it. now. 2
Still
seasons.
managed to fall asleep.
And then
I would totally
I'm gonna
fall
be
asleep,
like,
dude.
Then it'll be like feeding him throughout the day.
What are you feeding
more?
me, though?
Need more? Applesauce.
I don't like applesauce. Pudding, and you got a deal.
Pudding.
Yeah, I'm in.
Tomato
Tapioca?
Tomato soup, yes. Tomato paste, no, not for me.
Grilled cheese?
Just give some grilled cheese and just shove it in your face.
Oh, that's
Right.
cool. I do. Look,
I'm shoving it in like you're there.
oh goodness.
But yeah.
I swear I will get through it. And I've gotten through 4 episodes. I'm doing everything in my power to get
I'm not,
through it.
I'm not specifically talking about you because
He
every
is.
time
Every time he
I
brings
say
this up,
this,
he's talking about me. See,
you're
gets
just
it, dude. Sean
part
fucking
of
gets
it. But like, nowadays, no one wants the mystery part of a show. No one wants the build-up part of a show or a story. They want action immediately.
Yeah, he just explained that. Like, he's like, I want instant gratification now.
Yeah.
Explosion,
But and
awesome.
even the first like 3 episodes,
America. You can't fault him for that.
even the first 3 episodes of WandaVision, I was seeing these like, does WandaVision suck articles?
no.
And then like
Those
I
people are
see people
idiots.
being like, I tried to watch it, but like, nah. And then like,
I love
like,
it. That's what's
like,
up. I love
Yeah.
WandaVision. I think it's amazing, but I just can't. I don't know. Sorry.
But
Keep
yeah.
going.
I could see where small-brained, not you. I was kidding.
You're
I
a
was
real
kidding.
stupid person.
Not you, but the stupid people who don't like it. The fucking
Yeah.
idiots who
Right.
think it's
The
dumb.
Dumb idiots. Yeah, but anyways, yeah, WandaVision, what's up? You know what I mean?
Dude,
Like,
it's
killing
I don't
it.
know.
Episode 4 really opened up that can of worms. You know what I mean?
When she said I'm asking you nicely, that's like the most brutal thing ever.
Oh, spoilers, guys. Sorry.
Damn.
Sorry, I forget that line. What was that? The context?
Oh,
What you-
whenever. So they sent.
Spoiler. We're gonna go ahead and say spoiler
spoilers.
right now. Turn it off if you
They
don't want to hear it.
so episode 5, they send in a little drone from the 80s or whatever to like spy on them, and then the director tries to shoot a missile or something, and she just straight walks out of the force field
Holding the drone.
and
and just-
she's like, "I'm only gonna warn you once." Like,
and I'm asking you nicely or
Yeah.
whatever, and it's
Yeah.
just like, oh my god, that's amazing.
yeah,
It's wild because like obviously the first 2, like you said, slow build. You're like, why are we in the 50s? And it's like straight up like a 50s like
sitcom.
plot.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sure I've seen this or something very close to it, like
Right.
I Love Lucy or like
Right.
whatever.
Yeah,
You're like, what are we doing? And there's just like in that one, I think there's only like one little like glitch or like a couple little like glitches where they're like, all right, that was weird, but like I still have no idea why this is supposed to be interesting. What's going on?
right.
Second one in the 60s, like similar, like a little more build, but like, a couple little like hints, but like just enough to like, I'm gonna watch another episode, but I'm
Yeah,
like bored at this point.
but
So,
yeah, like, and
like,
with the
okay, like things are happening really quickly, now she's pregnant, now she's having kids, like who's this lady, like why is the guy cutting into the wall, why did a beekeeper come out of the sewer, like okay, things are getting weird, I'm more interested, but I'm still not sure like what makes this like
Right.
full caliber like MCU thing.
yeah.
And then episode 4 you're just like, oh shit, we're just gonna a whole bunch of stuff on you, and you're just like, oh god, and then like
Yeah.
slow drip
Yeah.
from the faucet, and then a fire hose just gets
Yeah.
blasted in her
Yeah.
face.
Yeah, and so originally, Falcon and the Winter Soldier was supposed to come out first, right? Because they're like, hey, our first show, we're gonna give them something they're a little used to, and then WandaVision will be the second one. So when we get weird,
I really wonder why they switched it.
well, it's
'Cause-
COVID. It was like, like the WandaVision is like a location, like a secluded location-based kind of show, and then Falcon and Winter Soldier is going to be a lot of different.
Oh, was it strictly because they were still filming it and they couldn't finish filming?
Right. Yeah.
I thought they had finished both.
No.
It was
No.
gonna- Falcon, Winter Soldier at the end of last year, like it was supposed to be. I'm like, perfect.
Yeah.
It's streaming, everyone's home, and then WandaVision was supposed to be around, when it came out,
Right.
maybe earlier.
I think they still had a lot of filming to do in different like areas and scenery and
couldn't
like, you know
get
what I mean?
there, yeah.
As to where WandaVision's all like in the little town, and that's it.
Was it Westfield?
You see one house most of the show. You know what I mean? So
yeah, like a live set.
Right.
So my theory in my head, I'm like, oh, why is WandaVision coming out first and Falcon and Winter Soldier is coming out second? And in my head, I was instantly going to like something in the timeline, in the MCU timeline, must be altered. That not being able to have Black Widow out first makes it so that they can't put out Falcon and Winter Soldier before Black Widow comes out, because then that might ruin something. So in my head, I was just, what happens in Black Widow?
Yeah.
After credit scene, is maybe she's still alive on Vormir after like the Soul Stone gets like handed back, and then she's
I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that.
I have no clue, honestly.
I did a lot of thinking.
Because
read that.
But the thing about that is that's been done. You know what I mean? That's Black Widow's been done, ready to go, and like the only thing they are just like, but what about money? You know, we want the money. Like we got to get it in a theater because money.
It's true.
Yeah. So. I get it because I want to see that movie in the theater. Like me and my wife, I got her, like, she's hooked on the MCU, and like we watched everything in chronological order. We watched it in the order they came out. Like we had a lot of time, and then every movie that's come out since she got caught up, we would go to this, AMC theater that has like rumble chairs and like recliner, and it's like Dolby Digital surround sound. We like pay more for it, but we're like, it's an event, so we look forward to it. So like I get that. But at the same time, I'm like, I need stories now. Well, so, like, we can't get back in theaters. Like, release that shit on Disney Plus.
Yeah. One of the funnest kind of, like, behind-the-scenes or Easter eggs that I've heard that was fun to me was, like, apparently there was a deleted scene that they were thinking about using at the very end after, like, Tony's funeral, where Wanda goes in and snatches up Vision's body. And then they decided to hold off because they were like, we don't want anyone to know anything about WandaVision. So then we finally got that scene in that one episode, which is real creepy, honestly.
Yeah, because he's just multiple pieces, right?
Yeah. And no, he's like spread out on the table, like all electronics. And there's like a table with like all the pieces of his like arm. It's honestly, it's like very similar to a comic book panel, which I have saved on my phone, which I'll show you right now. So. Oh,
you'll do it when you point, but when I point, dude.
Okay, point for me.
No, dude, you.
Oh, okay.
Every time I try to point and I say put it right here, he won't do it. But
no, that's
he
bullshit. I've done it.
No, you haven't.
Yeah, huh?
Dude, we're not doing this here. Continue.
So there's a couple things with that. Like, so Vision is, android for the most part,
right?
But he has some like organic material mixed in, right? Like that's like in Age of Ultron when he was being made, it was like with that doctor who got killed right after, her like technology to like make organic tissue and stuff.
Yeah.
But like building like the Soul Stone and the wiring or however it worked. So like somehow Vision is alive in this hex. That's in WandaVision, but they're throwing in little things like when she has that like learning lesson with her kids and the dog. They're like, bring her back, you can bring. She's like, no, I can't. And like you're in your head, you're like, yes, you can. Like you brought back Vision, like clearly. And she's saying no, and maybe you're thinking like, oh, she's having a dilemma. She's trying to teach these kids one thing, but like it's like do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
But maybe he's not technically alive because he's not technically like a human,
right?
Or like it'd be like reanimating a robot, like C-3PO, like he's like in a box somewhere, but you're like, I rewired him, he's alive again,
right?
So I wonder if she actually can't bring things back from the dead, and that she just was able to use her Soul Stone force since he's already got that like receptiveness to it to like reanimate the android part of it. But then you also, more spoilers, obviously. We've already
yeah, exactly.
But then like, Quicksilver comes back, but it's the X-Men Quicksilver. So it's still like she thought about him and like maybe inadvertently brought it back because she didn't want to.
Right.
But like, and even like Darcy was like, she recast him, and you're like, no, that's the Quicksilver from a different universe. So again, didn't bring anyone back from the dead, but universes are being crossed.
Right.
Like, so I don't know if she has the power to like make things come back to life. She might be being truthful about that, but
I don't think. She also says that she doesn't even know when it started. She also said she goes, when the doorbell rings, she goes, I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like now it's like it's purely just, you know, like instinct. You know what I mean? She's like, I'm not making any of the stuff that I want to happen. And it's
just like, she's willing and it's happening.
Right.
But like, who's allowing it to be willed if she's not even aware of it? Is she that powerful that she just like thinks of things and they happen? Or someone like else involved?
Do you read the comics at all?
I haven't been an avid comic reader since like the 90s when I was younger, but like I love all the lore and like check in here and there and like read, you know, fan theories and shit like that.
So a lot of people think that they're heading towards like this House of M storyline that happened, which I don't think we have enough set up for it yet. I feel like that we're gonna pump the brakes, and then maybe later that might happen. But in the comics, go ahead.
The actress who plays Wanda, Elizabeth Olsen, she said from the get-go she was very interested in that.
Yeah.
Especially because of like twins and stuff and the whole thing.
Yeah.
Her older sisters are the Olsen twins, which I just found out the other day and was like,
yeah.
She's basically Full House like set. Like,
right, exactly. Yeah. Lots of throwbacks to that. But yeah, in the comics, it gets so out of hand that like Wanda's own drama, she just starts making things happen. Like after, so spoiler alert on the fact of whether they're going to use this for the MCU stuff. The kids end up being like she wants them to be, which makes them be. But then you find out that this demon character, Mephisto, had put a piece of his soul into each of the kids, and that made it to where they could actually be people and like with their own thoughts and all this stuff. But when he comes back to claim those pieces of his soul, she like loses her shit because she's like, you're taking my kids away. And so then she starts going down this spiral to where she's like losing her shit. She's making weird shit happen all the time. And then this big event with Avengers versus X-Men had the Phoenix Force come back, and it was a bunch of drama between the two teams. And then Wanda's like, you know what? No more mutants. And as soon as she said that,
yeah, you've told me about this.
As soon as she said that, like 75% of all mutants lost their powers. And then the mutant race started becoming extinct for like this, you know, the next years of comics. So whenever she erased everybody's powers, like without even trying or whatever, she just said it. Professor Xavier calls a meeting between the X-Men and the Avengers, and even Quicksilver's there, and he's like, what are we gonna do? And like everyone's like, well, the one thing that we can do to make her stop affecting everyone's reality, kill her. And so Quicksilver's like, oh shit, they're gonna kill my sister, and he runs off to Magneto, and Magneto's like, what do you want me to do? Like, she's up our reality. And so he goes to Wanda and he's like, they're coming to kill you right now. And then everyone wakes up in a new reality. Literally every person in the Marvel Universe wakes up in their own reality. Cap's like this old man, like Cyclops is like married to like White Queen, and they're just like living out a normal life and all this stuff. And of course Wolverine, his memory starts to go, this isn't right. I'm healing and I remember some of this old stuff. So then Wolverine puts together a team of like these offshoot X-Men and Avengers that are living out these different lives to go and to change things back. But she had given everyone in the Marvel Universe exactly what they have always wanted, and they were living out their lives, while her, Quicksilver, and Magneto were the rulers of the country, and mutants were the main race. So that's why everybody's like, man, I hope this leads to House of M, because we would see like a whole movie to where all of the people we know as Avengers would be Bizarro characters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild because like with this show, like, obviously the first 2 episodes is slow, you know what's going on, and then it's revealed that it's Wanda. It's all Wanda. Like that's what Monica's saying, and then now that you're in episode 5, you're like, it might not be Wanda. Like It's partly, she's clearly some sort of like figurehead here, but like she doesn't seem to know exactly what's going on either. So at least maybe it started as her and it's got out of her control, or someone else is definitely pulling the shot. So like it's cool how it's like just like got layers to it that are just like peeling away. So I'm like very excited for this coming week.
Either way, it's gonna be sick.
It's gonna be really sick.
Even if she's like set up to be a major villain, or at least
I would love to see her as a major villain. I just
they're gonna call her Scarlet Witch. They alluded that she doesn't have like a wacky nickname. They're
right.
Like, oh no, I'm like, well,
yeah. Well, also, like they're calling it the Hex, and then I read a thing that was like, "Is everything inside the Hex a curse?" And then I'm like, "Hex, curse, witch." We're getting there.
Well, they gotta make it last a little bit longer.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I just wanted to wear the headdress. You know what I mean? The little to make her. Yeah.
So there's like. They keep having like little like shots of like a Halloween episode, and Vision's wearing like his like old comic one. I think she'll have hers on.
I mean, I want her to like keep it for her costume from now on. You know what I mean?
Awesome. So. I don't know. I really love her dressing like a '90s house mom in these shows. It makes me so happy. That's way cooler.
Yeah. She bae,
dude. I'm just saying.
But yeah, we've been going for a while, you know what I mean? So, but you know what? This was good. I had fun, and we caught up on our nerdiness. So
it's true. I had no idea that you were that into the MCU. That's awesome. That's really awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I got really into it within the last couple of years. Like, I was like casual fan. I would go see stuff, and like I remember seeing Ant-Man in the theaters. I was like, that had no business being that good. And then I started like going through stuff, and then I was like, I'm hooked. I'm in. I watched like the Netflix ones. Like, dude, Punisher was. So I was a kid in the '90s. Like, X-Men were cool, and like Captain America I thought was lame. Like, whatever. Spider-Man was kind of cool, but I was real into Punisher. Like, that was like my main one, and like Ghost Rider. And I was into the Image stuff, like Wildcats and Stormwatch and Spawn and all that stuff. So, like, that was, like, a real golden age in the 90s for, like, comic books. Like, the art was really good, but there was, like, lots of, like, different, like, spin-offs, different, like, companies coming out that, like, doing, like, crazy shit. Yeah. So if you were into, like, reading comic books in the 90s was sick.
Oh, yeah.
It was really sick.
We lived for it,
Dude, the art in the 90s is insane. Like, it's never been the same either. Like, you know what I mean? Those artists that came out then that are still doing stuff, it's insane. Yeah, Jim Lee. Jim Lee was my man.
Yeah, and like they just had so many muscles. Like, muscles. Like, it's so extreme.
The funniest thing.
The series was sick. Like, it was like obviously they've done like attempts at Punisher movies, and they all sucked, except for Warzone, which was bad, but like really good in the way that it was bad.
Right.
But the show was like so deep and so like gritty, and like caught all his like very like 3-dimensional nature as an anti-hero, and like I was so stoked. I was so happy that someone like finally got it right, made this like gritty character. So I really hope they bring some of those characters back. Iron Fist I could probably do without, but
I'm sure. I've actually heard all the rumors that like all of those characters are gonna be like brought back as the same people. Apparently the one dude is gonna be Daredevil in Spider-Man 3, so that's already, it's already looking up for those if you like those Netflix shows. So
yeah, I hope so.
And the funniest article I've read because of the X-Men thing that happened in WandaVision, it's like we have this opportunity to open up every universe that's ever been Marvel, and I read one article out of all of these articles coming out. This one article goes, "Do you know what this means? This means we can see Nick Cage as Ghost Rider. And it was like, what? All right. Well, we've been going for a while. We got to call it. But it was
fun.
It was awesome hanging out.
It was really fun to see you, dude.
Yeah.
I haven't seen you in a long time.
It's fun to nerd out, like, especially these days. Like, I can't just, like, hang out with friends and be like, oh, did you watch the thing?
Yeah.
So I just talk to myself.
And we're, you know, like, with this channel, it's like we're going to keep doing interviews with people, but, like, we're also going to do one-off shoots where we talk about certain subjects, and we are always open for someone to come back to talk about those specific subjects. And I know that, you know, hopefully you'd want to be one of those, because I feel like every time we're on the tube jamming on these, you know, theories and stuff, it's like, how long have we been on? We've been on for an hour. Like, you know, so, yeah. You're always welcome to come back.
Anytime.
Good to see you guys. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Give them your info, where to find your band, where to find your stuff.
You can find the band, on Instagram. It's Inspirit Boston, I believe. Hopefully I got that right. That's pretty much all we got. I think we have a Facebook. I don't know. You could definitely go on our, you know, Instagram and find, like, all our links and stuff and our merch and, like, stream us online. Got something new coming out pretty soon. I also make, like, furniture and shit, so I'm going to give myself a plug for Marquis Craftworks.
Hell yeah.
Make,
Sweet.
like, resin tables and refound stuff, so just trying to do that while, you know, jobs are scarce out there, so, yeah. And then look me up, Shawn Marquis, just my name, Instagram. Talk to me. I talk to everyone. It's fun. I love hearing, you know, all these theories and stuff, and I talk to random people I've never met before for a long time if they just talk to me on Instagram. It's fun to, like, say something like, totally, man, let's talk.
Yeah, I definitely like that. So if somebody hits me up about some dumb shit like that, I'm like, hey, what time you going to bed, bro? We want to talk about this for a while. But all right, man, it's been fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
we'll
much,
stay in
dude.
touch. And see you later, nerds.
Later.
Thanks, buddy.
You say, okay.
Oh my God.